I got laid off from my corporate job yesterday. And I think that this is the reality for a lot of Americans right now, and it needs to be shared because America is not doing well right now.
We're fucked. We are fucked, y'all. Holy shit, are we fucked. We're not making it to the end of the year before we have a truly horrific economic crash. That'll be worse than 2008, by the way.
Unfortunately, our society does not facilitate that at all. The American economy is a part-time economy. Less and less people have full-time jobs, and even if they do, they're working part-time jobs because they simply can't make ends meet without having that extra income.
Right now, people are calling this the silent depression. Not because there's chaos in the streets or lines for bread, but because it's hidden. It's in the quiet moments. Waking up early, working all day, and somehow still feeling behind. It's checking your account after payday and realizing half of it's already gone to bills. It's doing everything right. Saving, budgeting, working hard, and wondering why it never feels like enough. Our grandparents bought homes in their 20s. They raised families on one income. They retired with pensions. Today, people in their 20s can barely afford rent, groceries, or a car payment. Prices keep rising, but wages haven't moved in decades. We call it normal, but deep down, everyone feels it. That silent pressure to keep up in a system that's sprinting ahead while you're stuck running in place. This isn't just bad luck. It's a new kind of struggle. One that doesn't make headlines but quietly drains millions of people every single day. The cost of living goes up, hope goes down, and people keep pretending everything's fine. That's the silent depression, the one no one talks about, but everyone feels. Check out some of these videos.
We are living in the silent depression, and I'm going to explain what I mean. During the Great Depression, 48% of people ages 25 to 29 lived at home with their parents. Nowadays, it's over 52%. If you take the worst year of the Great Depression in the 1930s, 1930 specifically, they made about $88,000 a year adjusted for inflation on average, one person, not a household, one person. Today, that's in between about $35,000 and $45,000 per head wherever you look across the country. New cars are unaffordable. New houses are unaffordable. To move to a new place and rent somewhere else is unaffordable. It's terrible what's going on right now. And to cap all of this off, I don't think anyone, for the most part, is really thinking about the fact that in 2020, 45% of the market just came crashing down in 1 month. There was a 45% drop in 1 month, the quickest fall that we've ever seen in United States history. And then it went back up and people have stopped thinking about it. Well, I'll tell you, I haven't. I think something big may be on the horizon because normal people in this country are fucking struggling. And at the end of the day, normal people are what this country's backbone is built out of. If you crush the back, the country's back will be broken and the rest of the body will be functionally useless.
We are currently living in a worse economic time than the Great Depression. And the crazy part is no one's even talking about it. It's like a silent recession, and you should be alarmed. In 1930, the average income for an American was $4,800. It doesn't sound like much, but if you adjust it for inflation, it would be $85,000 today. The average annual income for someone today is only $56,000. In 1930, gas was an average of 10 cents a gallon. That would make it an equivalent of $1.73 today. Have you gotten gas lately? The average is $3.55 nationwide. To buy a new car in 1930, it would have cost you $860. Adjusted for inflation, it's about $15,000 today. Guess what the price of a new car is today? Average. $48,000. Not even close. And we can't forget about the good old American dream. In 1930, you could buy a house for $3,900. Today, that would equate to $70,000. Nationwide, the average home price is about $415,000. I know those numbers are wild. And it's even more wild that the news, the media, and outlets aren't talking about it. It's like they don't want you to realize what's happening. Good news is a lot of fortunes were built in downtimes and recessions. Do everything you can to keep self-development, growth, and focus on you and your family and making money.
So I just got done working at a trade show and I had a pretty eye-opening conversation happen right in front of my eyes today that I feel like I need to share because it just further proves the point that they don't fucking get it. And I don't know if they ever will, but it was really mind-blowing what I heard today. So just to give you a little background, I'm working at a trade show where it's like all legal stuff. So like think lawyers and anybody involved in the legal field. So like specialized positions, right? You have to go to school to be a lawyer and like be in law, right? So these guys are sitting here talking, and they're talking about how it is, the first sentence they said was, man, it's so hard to find people to work in the States. Nobody wants to work. And immediately ears perk up, because anytime somebody says shit like that, it's never true. So I'm like, I gotta hear where this conversation goes. And they go on to say, yeah, you know, we hired this one guy and he was really awesome. We've hired him on at $17 an hour in the state of California, mind you, which is like, if not minimum wage, it's like barely above it. And they go, we hired him at $17 an hour, and then he, you know, he's doing a good job, but he wanted a raise, so we gave him a $2 an hour raise, and a couple months later, he's like, I want more money, and we're just like, dude, I mean, you want so much money, this is fucking insane, you want so much money from us, and I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so you're paying him $19 an hour now, $19 an hour. You're paying somebody in a specialized position, somebody that had to go to school, get into student debt, and not only have to pay off their student debt, but also has to pay to live in this expensive ass life that we live in. And you're mad that he's asking for not even $20 an hour. It's fucking insane. And then they start going on, well, this is why we're going overseas, because they can, you know, we can charge $6 an hour for the same people and get the same work and blah, blah, blah. Yes, in a country where the cost of living is a lot fucking lower than it is here. No shit. No shit. And then they just keep going on and on and on about how nobody wants to work here. And it's just wild. And these strikes that are happening are just fucking insane. And I wish they'd just give it up already. And this right here is exactly why y'all gotta keep striking, because they don't fucking get it. These are people that are driving $300,000 cars. These are people with a summer home, not only just a regular home, a summer home, and they own both of them. These are people that don't have to look at price tags when they go to the grocery store. They don't have to look at price tags when they go shopping, because that's the life they live, right? And like, again, a lot of them are CEOs and they've started this company, and that's totally fine. You should be making more than the bottom level employees when you own the company. That's fine. But to sit here and say that somebody asking for $20 an hour is fucking crazy money is mind-blowing to me. It's mind-blowing, because they're not asking for crazy money. You know what they are asking for? Survival. They're asking to be able to go to the dentist's office and be able to pay for it. They're asking to be able to have maybe a little bit of a savings account in case something goes wrong and they need to be able to pay for that, because God forbid you have medical bills pop up. They want to be able to pay their rent on time. They want to be able to not work 2 jobs. They want to be able to go to the grocery store and be able to get all the food that they need for their family. Like, they want survival. They don't want excess. They want survival. And that's what these people don't fucking get. And I don't know what it's going to take to make these people truly understand that's literally what people are asking for. So with that being said, I've been hearing a lot about people striking tomorrow for September 1st, everybody not going to work and whatever. And if you're part of that group, I absolutely fully fucking support it. I wish I could be there. I will be there in spirit, but something's got to give, because they don't get it. I don't know if they ever will, but this shit is fucking crazy. And the fact that people still believe that that's what people are asking for, mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing.
So anyone with eyes can see that we have been in a solid recession for a while now, and the media wants to make it seem like, oh, everything is good. As long as the stock market is falsely inflated, then everything is still good. Guys, people are struggling. I don't like to sit back and talk about the negative or talk about what's going on, because I have faith that things will get better. Even if it's me who's going through the situation, I'm always someone who has faith. And just because everything is going on like this in the world doesn't necessarily mean that that is what I am going through. But I see what everyone else is going through. Advertisers have changed the way that they're advertising their products. Now everything is buy now, pay later, pay in 4, pay in 6, pay it off within 12 months. So where a person may used to go out and give plasma just to go out and have a nice meal and enjoy themselves or buy a pair of shoes, now they're giving plasma in order to pay their car payment. Now they're giving plasma in order to be able to afford food for the week. Everything now is geared towards necessities and not enjoying yourselves. The average American right now, the only thing they have money for is to pay their bills, barely, to buy a little bit of food, barely, to pay their car payment, barely. So, some things that I could say that can make this much easier. It is a priority right now to get rid of all the things that you're paying for that are not a necessity. Most people, they've already done that because they just can't afford it. So these things have gotten repoed, they've lost them, and things of that nature. If you are someone who is still now spending money on luxurious things, you need to stop that now and begin to cut back. Starbucks has to go. $6-7 for a latte, sometimes twice a day, every day for some people. It needs to go. Get you a Mr. Coffee, throw it in the kitchen, get your favorite creamer, and you want that luxurious apartment, that luxurious house for the sole purpose of being in this neighborhood. If things get worse, you're not going to care about the fact that you live in this luxurious neighborhood or the neighborhood that everyone wants to go to. You're going to care about the fact that you actually have a place to live in the first place and that you're not on the streets. Especially if you have a great salary, you're doing well, cut back now, begin to save. The first step is a 1-month emergency expenses. And then you go to 2, then you go to 3. And eventually, if you can get to 6 months of emergency expenses, if you are to be laid off or fired from your job or anything is to happen, that will hold you over. Because the last thing you want to do is when that happens is to go and spend that money and end up in the same situation.
I got laid off from my corporate job yesterday. And I think that this is the reality for a lot of Americans right now, and it needs to be shared because America is not doing well right now. We have a 94% prediction rate that the recession's going to come, but yet our frickin' administration hasn't even made the move to actually say that a recession's coming. And let's actually call it what it is, a depression. People can't afford groceries, they can't afford rent, they can't afford buying houses, they can't afford having babies, they can't afford having the kids in general if they already have them. We are not in a good spot, y'all. I know that I'm just a number in a company, but I thought I was okay. You're going to think that you're okay because you've worked there for so long or you have the right experience. Like, you guys, I have an undergraduate in marketing, a master's in business, 6 years of paid social media experience, both on a strategist and manager level. I have done people management for at least 3 years. I'm a senior level in my career. And yet, when I was hired to do a senior level role, I was forced into entry level positions. I was doing entry-level work as a senior-level strategist, all while at the same time being asked to reduce my workload with AI, and our team was having layoffs every 3 months. I should have seen it coming. I really should have. But the thing is that it was not something that I saw coming, because the day before that they laid me off, I was literally talking coverage plans with another employee who was going on leave for months. How am I supposed to sit there and not think that I'm safe in that moment? I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that we live in a world like this where my manager wasn't even the one that fired me, by the way, or laid me off. It was frickin' HR, and they read off a script, but my whole team got laid off. And this is the reality for a lot of Americans right now. My partner is a first responder, so I'm very lucky for the fact that I can be leaning on him for support right now, because luckily his job is secure, thanks to the fact that number one, his job is essential, and number two, he has a union behind him. What I will never understand is why corporate agencies have not unionized. We're not allowed, right? We're not allowed. That's part of it. We'll get fired because at least in this corporate world, they're always going to side on the side of business because that's what's making the government money. This world right now is not supporting people. It is supporting business. You are just a number, unfortunately. So please prepare yourself for shit like this. I wish I would have. I wish I'd been applying to other jobs months ago. I just was so dumb to not realize the signs. I want to talk about it. I think people need to talk about it. I think we need to make this more public. We all saw the jobs report. It was awful. Getting laid off on the day that the jobs report goes out, and it's 22,000 instead of 75,000 new jobs. You know how discouraging that is? If you know of anything in the marketing space, let me know. Use my comments as a way in which to maybe trauma dump. I don't care, vent. I'm here for you guys. I can't believe this. And I'm really sorry if you're going through this too. Here for you.
Our economy is going to crash so bad. Because there is something that is different this year as compared to literally every other year that I've been alive. So for context, I live in a small town of about 20,000 people in Indiana. Every year, I've lived here for 22 out of the 27 years I've been alive. Every single year, every single night, for the 2 months leading up to July 4th and the month after, there is nightly fireworks. I have documented proof of texting my vets and asking for medication, either if it's trazodone or with one of my dogs, Xanax, because trazodone was not good enough for him. He hates fireworks. Every night, you would hear them for multiple hours a night. It was horrible. It was traumatic. Even last year, it was bad. This year, nothing. I couldn't even tell you. Actually, yes, I was on a walk. I heard 2 fireworks last week. I haven't heard any this week. If you know small town, conservative, more redneck areas, they buy fireworks like they buy cigarettes. Okay? It's a part of their culture. They'll do anything to buy some fireworks. Just like they'll do anything to buy cigarettes. And they can't. There's no fireworks. None. No fireworks. It's quiet. It's crazy. And I don't think, anyone who's in a similar situation to me, I'm sure, can comprehend how truly horrific that is. How truly terrifying that in and of itself is, because again, it is culture. It is culture. And when you rip culture away, like our economy is so bad that not even culture can survive. Oh, we're fucked. We are fucked, y'all. Holy shit, are we fucked. We're not making it to the end of the year before we have a truly horrific economic crash. That'll be worse than 2008, by the way. Oh, we're fucked. Enjoy the quiet now, because it will definitely last.
Is the economy in a silent recession? A lot of people seem to think so. 59% of Americans said in a Bankrate survey that they feel like the economy is in a recession. Ask economists this, and most of them will say no with their full chest. I think it is more worthwhile to continue establishing that there is an economy that economists study, and then there is the economy that Americans experience. And these two groups are looking at completely different metrics when they make their judgment calls. Americans talk about a rising cost of living, rising college tuition, childcare expenses, and housing affordability as reasons why they don't think the economy is strong. These are concerns that are valid to point out. I found through my research that the median home price in 2022 is roughly 6 times higher than median household income when adjusted for inflation. Back in 1985, it was just 1.5 times higher. This text comes from the National Bureau of Economic Research, which has a group of private sector economists that are granted the full authority over declaring whether we are in a technical recession. They're looking for multiple measures showing widespread declines. None of that is happening right now. It's at the very heart of how everyday people are defining a silent recession. Focusing purely on nationwide numbers could be invalidating to individual Americans' experiences. Both things can be true at the same time. The economy might not be in a technical recession. It doesn't also always mean that the economy feels fair to everyone.
I don't want to live here anymore. I live in America, and the sense of dread that I feel living here for the next 30, 40 years is so bad, you guys. Let me just give you a little peek into my world. So 5 years ago, me and my husband bought our home. Okay, we bought our home on my 22nd birthday. Our home at the time was valued at $130,000 by the county. Now, mind you, we did not pay this much for our home. I wish we did, but we did not. 5 years later, we just looked. Our home is valued at $248,000 5 years later. Last year, our home appraised at $161,000. If we were to try to buy a home now, I don't think that we would be able to do it. 5 years ago, all they told you was you needed good credit and $10,000 saved up. That was more attainable 5 years ago for a couple of early 20-year-olds than it would be for two people dual income in our mid-20s right now. At the time, me and my husband were making really good money. I mean, for two people that don't have college degrees, we were making well over $100,000 a year. And in the South, specifically Texas, that used to stretch. Nowadays, it literally doesn't mean anything. Like, groceries are too high. The cost of living is too high. The housing crisis is out of control. People move. It's bad. It's bad, you guys. It's getting bad, and it's getting worse and worse by the year, no matter who's elected president. We were not put on this earth to work 70 plus hours a week, not be able to spend time with our families. We were put on this earth to consume art, have community, try new foods, new cultures, travel. We did everything that they tell us you're supposed to do. We went to college. Now, do we have degrees? No. We went to college. We saved up the money. We worked really hard. We bought the house. People base their whole self-worth off of their work ethic. I'm not one of those people. Even if you say, oh, you've done this and this, and look at all the things you've acquired. I don't care. I can't even imagine people that stay at their job 30, 40 years. Kudos to you. It's really hard for people, and I think especially my generation, to just see us doing the same thing for the next 30 years. And for what? I don't know what we're supposed to do. People my age. Is this it? Is this what we do? Forever? Nah. I don't want to live here anymore. I don't want to do this. And I'm not saying that there's somewhere better and there's a utopia that you don't have to work. But I think that there has to be somewhere that it's beneficial for the amount that you work. Fun. People will say, well, what are you going to do when you're older? How are you going to retire? I don't know. but I know that I'm going to enjoy every day and I'm going to be happy every single day.
We are officially in the silent depression, and housing is the cause. In 2020, you could get a house for $300,000 at a 3% interest rate. Your payment out the door with taxes and everything would be $1,800 a month. Not too shabby. Today, that same house right next door, your neighbor, would pay $450,000 at a 7.5% interest rate, putting the payment at $3,800 for the same house right next door. $2,000 more. But here's where it gets wild. Back in 2020, a person to qualify for this house would have to make $60,000. That's reasonable. Between you and a spouse or you yourself, $60,000? Today, it has bumped up to $120,000 to have a shot at getting this loan. So that is why tens of millions of Americans have been priced out of the housing market. And to take it a step further, when you add in the interest over a 30-year period of what the house would actually cost you after the 30 years if you never refinanced, in 2020, this home would end up costing you $441,000 after your 30-year loan. The same house in 2023 will end up costing you $1.1 million.
So a couple minutes ago, I had a conversation with a lawyer that really opened my eyes to the reality of what is going on in America these days. Now, the conversation started off pretty normally. I picked him up and I asked, "Hey man, how's it going?" He said, "I'm all right. I could be better." And then I asked, "So what you doing this evening? What's going on?" And he said, "Well, I'm going home because I have to finish up this project that's due tomorrow." The first thing that entered my mind after hearing that was, wow, this sounds a lot like school. But anyways, I asked, "Oh, okay, so what's the project about?" He's like, "Well, I just got this project handed to me because I told my boss that I finished the project that was due today and the one that was already due tomorrow. And she thought it would be a good idea to hand me another one that isn't actually due for 2 months, but today she just randomly decided that she wanted it to be due tomorrow." And I was not at all surprised because I hear these stories from people all the time. I'm an Uber driver here in Pittsburgh and I have a good pulse for the city. I talk to people every single day of my fucking life, 6-7 days a week. And this sentiment is pretty common. The overwhelming workload and not really having the time to live normal, productive, functional lives outside of their work. So I dove into it a little bit deeper and I asked them, "So what's the project about?" He went on, he said this, it's a civil case, blah, 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 blah. And then I asked, "So what made you get into law?" He's like, "Well, I didn't really know what to do. So I just got into it. I went to school because I figured it'd be a decent path. I'd make some decent money." And then I went even deeper into the question and I asked, "So how far do you want to go? Do you want to be a partner like your boss wants to be?" Because she's looking to get promoted and that's why she's so gung-ho. That's why she's trying to get all these projects done. And he said, "No, not really. I'm not really trying to be a partner at all." And then I asked, "So what do you want?" He said, "Well, really all I want is a stable paycheck and a place to live." And that hit me because this is what pretty much everybody wants. This is what you want. This is what I want. This is pretty much what 99% of people who are alive want out of their lives. So much on TikTok, we see gurus that talk about how you need to get rich, you need to get wealthy, you need to make it big. And I talk about this too on my other page, Stupid Rich Finance. And I do so because it's a good goal to aim for, especially if you're ambitious. If you're ambitious, it's really tough to just settle. It's really tough to just accept the 9-to-5 consistent paycheck, go to the bars on the weekends, have a wife, have a kids, have a house. You want more. There's that thing in your mind. There's that fire in your soul that drives you. But a lot of people don't want that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But unfortunately, our society does not facilitate that at all. The American economy is a part-time economy. Less and less people have full-time jobs, and even if they do, they're working part-time jobs because they simply can't make ends meet without having that extra income. And every time I talk to somebody who continues to reaffirm my strong conviction in the fact that everybody I meet just wants to have a simple, stable life here in America, the more I think, damn, there's got to be a way to facilitate this. There's got to be a way to make a system where we can all eat, we can all live functional lives. We can all have time with the kids. We can have time with the family. We can have time with friends. And we can do work that at least doesn't bore us to death, at least doesn't kill us in our souls. Maybe it's not the thing we want to do. Maybe we want to be painters. Maybe we want to be musicians like myself. Maybe we want to do all this other stuff, but at least our work doesn't absolutely kill our spirit and soul. But yet we don't have that. We're living in a silent depression. We're living in an era where this is just not possible. And it's really a shame because the central planners, the elite out here, they could make this happen and they don't, purposefully. They don't allow this to happen. They don't want us to live functional lives. They want us to be in fear. They want us to be paranoid. They want us to be looking over our shoulders. They want us to not trust each other. They divide us so that they can conquer. They divide us so that they can make more money. They divide us so that they can get more power. And it's a shame because really they could have their cake and eat it too if they just let us have these lives. Just facilitated a system where the middle and lower class can eat. We're not asking for a lot. We just want a stable life. There have been periods in history where this happened in the not too distant past, but all of that has eroded away. And it's a really shameful thing. And I really just had to get that out. But yeah, that's the world we live in. If you relate to this, comment down below and type agree if you agree that you just want a house, you just want a stable place to live, you just want a stable paycheck. And comment a solution if you have one, because I don't know what it is, but I know there's got to be something that facilitates this lifestyle as a possibility for the 99%.